Hey guys, how's everybody doing? This is Craig here from Bass Lessons Melbourne, and today I'm joined by Igor Saavedra.
Well spelled, my friend.
Thanks, man. Really good to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you, my friend.
Yeah, you too. You've came here all the way from Chile, or were you in LA before?
Well, I lived in LA from 95 to 2000, really. So
okay.
I live in Chile.
So you live in Chile. And how are you enjoying Melbourne?
I'm enjoying. I mean, this is one of the for 7 years in a row the most livable city in the world.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with that.
You can see why.
Yeah, it's an amazing city, and also what surprised me is how in this season the weather changes a lot. It's like wow, but it's interesting anyway.
Yeah.
It's like wow.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, umbrella and some fun. Whatever. So hot umbrella.
Yeah.
That's very crazy.
And you were out for the Grand Prix?
Oh yeah, I came a little bit earlier because I'm a fan of Formula One, and now I think McLaren can do something with the Renault engine, and Alonso is my favorite driver.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the short story about that. We're gonna talk about music, so.
Yeah, but it was a good event. It all went.
Oh man, it was incredible, absolutely incredible. I mean, being there is something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Here's the thing, it just popped to mind. Do you see any parallels between being a Formula One driver and being a bass player?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, of course. I mean, depending on the type of bass player, because there are different, approaches to music. Mm-hmm. All of them valid, in my opinion.
Just like there's different types of drivers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good quote.
Some people drive a truck.
Yeah. But well, let's say I play, for example, in my specific case is like I'm a solo player.
Yeah.
I'm very, like I was telling you before, very nerdy type of guy. Very like, I like to study. I like the detail, that kind of stuff. I have friends, colleagues that are quite the opposite, and we're such good friends. They are crazy and stuff like that. And but the profile of an F1 driver, it suits me quite well. It's like you need to be very, very like technical somehow, but you have to have I don't know if I can say that
passion.
No.
Oh, cojones.
Yeah, cojones, balls. Yeah, because it's rough also. So it's a healthy combination between rationality, spirituality, and passion. Of course, it cannot
passion.
be a brainy execution. It's like not good.
Yeah,
it's a healthy combination of.
And also a finely tuned machine.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm very into designing and creating my own instruments. As you know, I came up with the eight-string bass in 1999, where there were not eight-string basses. I mean, extended range eight-string basses.
Yeah.
because of course the double fourth, you know, the X-string double fourth. Well, those were already, but this, even though Bill Dickens, friend of mine, came out with the 9-string a little bit before me, but nobody was taking care about the X-string, and it suited me perfectly. There are many reasons for me to play an X-string bass. Really, it's not like, oh, 8, nobody has done it. No, it doesn't go like that. It's a deep reason for this to be like that. I can explain if you want. But
I guess, you know, it has to be tuned. Your bass is tuned to you in the same way that the car would be tuned to the driver.
In this case, yes, because this is a very specific bass, and it has a lot of features that are completely personal and to the detail. And this is, in fact, this is the last version of Octavius. The name of my bass is Octavius, and you can imagine why. And this is the last version, and for the last years my bass have been detachable. You see, you can detach the wings in like 20 seconds on the, I can show there, you can zoom, the wrenches are there, so you just detach it and you put it, excuse me sir, you can put it right here.
Awesome.
You can, the headstock goes there and the wings go there, so it's very handy. It's 97 centimeters long, so it fits any overhead, and it's really practical because you never have a problem at the gate. Never.
Yeah.
You just go with it inside. That's it.
Easy.
It's paradise for professional bass players, because when we travel and the bass goes at the luggage, with the luggage, that's not a pleasant flight for any of us. So I got really tired about that. It was like a super stressful flying like that, and I came with the solution. And this has you can change the wings. In fact, it's got a translucent red made of ash, hollow. These are chambered. The other ones are hollow, ash, maple. Yeah. So it's you can have two basses in one.
Cool. And what did you start out playing? What bass did you start playing?
My very beginnings, you mean?
Yeah.
That was oh, that's funny. It's a Flying B.
Flying B.
Steinberger Flying B 35-inch scale. In 1988, I started to play. I was
35-inch 4-string.
35-inch 4-string Flying B wide.
Wow. Which you also kind of have to hold like that if you're playing sitting down with the V.
Well, back in those days, I was playing rock and different styles, so I was pretty much stand up. Yeah, well, not that much rock really, but you know, playing in bands and stuff like that. And,
right.
But I didn't have that for many long. I mean, too long, like 6 months, and then I got my Fender Precision.
Oh, okay.
Like any decent bass player has to have.
Yeah.
4-string Fender Precision, 76, 77.
Do you still have it?
No, but I know who has it, so it's still there.
You can always steal it back.
I will steal that from him, and that's it. And then I had that for like 3 years, and then a 6-string PV TL6.
Okay.
What a wonderful bass. That one, a student of mine that lives in Detroit now has it. And
PV make decent instruments.
Yeah. Oh yeah, back in those days.
Yeah.
The Wolfgang guitar.
Yeah.
Of Eddie Van Halen.
That's right.
A piece of art.
Yeah.
They were doing really serious stuff back in the days.
Didn't the guy from Toto, didn't he play one?
Oh yeah, Mike. Yes, Mike Porcaro. Yes.
Yeah, I think he.
Yes, he was. But this PVTL6 was really an incredible bass. I had that for 7 years, and then the first X-string bass in 1999. Did
the PV have the radius pickup?
No, it didn't. No, not radius pickup. Very, very slight radius.
Right. Okay.
17 inches, I would say.
Right.
17 to 19 inches. It was something like that.
Yeah.
So it was color bridge, huge preamping. Back in the days when I used to play with preamps and stuff, as you see, for the last 20 years I haven't used any knob, no preamps, nothing. I don't use pedals, I don't use effects, nothing.
Fingers.
I try to go, do the nuances with my hands as much as possible.
And what made you pick up the bass in the first place?
The story is quite interesting. It's very like kind of mystic. I was studying in the last year of university to become a PE. Physical education. Yes, okay. Yes. I was a Kung Fu instructor already.
No way.
Yeah, I was almost in charge of the whole academy, because my master was like letting me the responsibility, and that's why I studied PE, because after I wanted to graduate, to have a diploma and go to China. I was finishing the career and going to China to live, and that was ready. I was studying Chinese.
Yeah. Yeah,
I speak a little bit. I still remember. And one day, very last year of my university, a little sign on a pole on a jazz concert, weather report. What was that? Music was not part of my life at all. So I went there.
Silly name for a band.
Said, what's that? I had nothing to do. I was with my hot dog here, like lunchtime, you see. Okay, whatever, I have nothing to do. So I sat on the floor, concert started.
And this is in?
Chile. In Chile, and at the campus in the university.
Okay.
In a place they had for concerts.
Yeah.
And they started to play. First time in my life listening to live music.
Really?
Yeah, and the bass, first time. I didn't care about music.
Okay.
Sports and martial arts, that was it. And they start playing, and I said, wow. I started crying, like crying.
Wow.
And my attention was, I was not intentional. I was just focusing on that instrument.
Yeah.
Didn't even know it was bass. You see? It was,
yeah.
What's that? So fat and warm. You see? And well, when they stopped playing, I went towards the bass player, that guy, to me, and what's that? I said to him, what's that? Sorry, well, that's the bass. Okay, thank you. So I went out, I grabbed my bike. It took me 6 months to build that bike. It's important to tell you that, because after that, I went out of the campus, I turned around 180 degrees and said, that's it. I fell in love immediately.
Wow.
I went out and I went to my home and I grabbed the newspaper, bass for sale. I have no money, but I have a bike. So, well, would you like to exchange it for a bike? No. Are you crazy? No, nobody wanted. But one guy told me, listen, I took my grandmother to bring a guitar for me, and she brought a bass from the US. So maybe, why you come here? Why you don't come here? So I went there on my bike, and he had this Steinberger Flying V. I was not able even to choose what bass I wanted. I was listening to Weather Report. What a Flying V Steinberger headless has to do with that? I just got a bass and traded the bass for
the bike.
Amazing bike, Shimano, Regina, Jane. Oh, it was way more expensive. I lost it big time there on that trade. But
you gained.
Yeah, I had a bass immediately. Yeah. I mean, 4 hours after the concert. And when I was leaving the place and it was late and I had no money for the bus. So I came back running. He was closing. He had a store. I was closing. Oh, no regrets. It's deal. No. I forgot I came on the bike, so I don't have money for the bus. Oh, no, don't worry. He gave me like some cash. I went back to my home, and I faked it every morning like I was leaving to the university till the end of the year. But the most important part of the story is that later I found out that very day, was September 21st, 1987. You know what happened that day? Jaco passed away.
Oh.
That very moment.
That day?
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm the reincarnation of Jaco or some shit like that. It's very mystic, because who can say for sure that at least one molecule of this guy passed through me and went out to the cosmos, and that was the spark.
I mean, especially seeing Weather Report as well. I mean,
you added that. You see, I was listening to Weather Report, Jaco was dying in that very moment, and my life was pointing that way, and in a moment something happened that I don't know, understand what happened. Bah! I didn't know who Jaco was, what a bass was. It was like, when I found out that, I was very impressed, because like, what? Yes, September was the very first, I mean, the very same day. So that's the mystic part of and from this day up, well,
that was that. Who was playing bass at that point?
A very famous Chilean bass player, very famous. He's still famous. Okay. I mean, he's older now, but he's a great bass player. And people doesn't know him here, but he was a great bass player. So thank God, you see, because he was playing well, even though I have no context to compare.
Sure.
He was doing it greatly.
Yeah.
It was a fretless bass, in fact.
Okay.
I don't play fretless. It was not about that. It was about, that was the right moment.
The connection.
Yes, that's how everything started.
And so then, did you find a local teacher?
No, I am totally self-taught, because when I told my family at the end of that year that okay, I'm stopping this, and what?
And how old are you at this point? Like 20?
I was 22.
Wow.
Old, very old for something like that. I was like, what? What are you gonna do? I'm gonna play bass. That's what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. And they really went mad. Yeah. I don't blame them, of course. I mean, it's like,
it's pretty.
They went mad. They closed the door, literally. I mean, I was on the street.
Wow.
And that's too much. So I have no chance to do anything else but learning by myself, because nobody's gonna pay lessons for me. And remember, we're in South America, 1987. That's the context. So it was not easy to make a living out of anything. So, but I managed my ways, and then my mom said, okay, come back. My mother is an actress, by the way.
Okay.
So it makes no sense, because she's an artist. So maybe that was the reason she was scared about, because she knows how hard it is. So I'm self-taught.
Okay.
100%. I've never had any.
So you went to jam sessions and started playing with other musicians?
Jam sessions, getting books and copying them, photocopies, and because of my nerd nature, it was easy to me to just study. I mean, understand. Okay, okay, whole note. You divide it. Oh, makes sense. Okay. Fractions.
Yeah.
Fractions. Yeah. Okay, that's it. And it was natural. It was not really hard to learn the theory, and then I went crazy. I mean, I loved it. So, wow, harmony, stuff like that.
Yeah. And were you playing kind of traditional Chilean folk music, or?
No. I was playing. It was very, very fast. I mean, after 8 months, I was playing with 6 months. I was playing subbing, not subbing really, for a very famous Chilean rock band, which is called Los Tres. But subbing, the main guy was another guy. I was just starting, so the videos are on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I told a friend, man, this is my first gig, the paid gig in my life. 6 months after that day of the bicycle, 6 months. And man, you have to go with the camera. There were no phones back in the day, so it was a tripod with a huge camera like that, and I was just the bass player, and the camera was with a huge light, and the camera pointing me, and the main the singer of the band went mad about me, and it's like, but I was naive. I mean, it was like it was my first paid gig, and I wanted to have it, and I don't regret it at all. It's on YouTube, and I see it. My stupid face. I was scared and stiff like a piece of stone. I was like very scared. But it's right.
But you did it. You played it.
Oh yes, no wrong notes, man. I played it perfectly.
Wow.
But it's funny to see myself. And 3 months after that, I was playing with a very famous singer, which is called Oscar Andrade. It's like Willie Nelson for the U.S. You can say this kind of guy, composer and a famous guy in Chile. The top singer like that. It's like John Denver, Willie Nelson, this kind of guys. But in Chile. And 3 months after that, I was playing in De Quirusa, which is a very famous funk hip hop band, very famous in my country. It was very fast, and at the 1 year and a half after the bicycle thing, I was teaching at the #1 jazz school in my country.
A year and a half later.
Yes, I was teaching bass at that school. So it went very fast, but it was somehow good. And on the other side, I went a little, you know, when you're young, the ego kills you a little bit. I felt, oh man, I'm gone. Man.
Well, I mean,
I must be gone.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but you know, when you are young and not mature yet, you think you are better than you are really.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but the good thing is that I moved to the States to live in 1985. It went good because I won an audition for being a teacher at the California Music Studio. This granted me the O1 visa status, which is, you know, the O1.
Yeah.
It's a very, very cool visa,
yeah.
Outstanding achievement visa. But I started to meet people and amazing bass players, and I said, okay, no, no, I'm not ready yet. I'm still not ready, in fact. So it's like, okay, calm down a little bit. You need to learn so much. But I was doing good, playing with guys like Bob Shepard, you know, sax player. Many famous musicians.
So really, jazz was your kind of main
goal,
or at that time?
At that time, it was like a status thing to me, jazz.
Okay, because that was the elite musicians were seen as being jazz musicians.
It was like, wow. And in a moment, I realized I was not a jazzist. I just played jazz very professionally, well, but it was not filling my soul. I mean, it's like, I don't want to be a jazz player. I don't want to be defined by that. I mean, it's not. I said harmony is cool, but the rhythms, the richness of the rhythms of South American area is so immense that I started to understand that my roots were there, but the richness of jazz harmony, that was worth it to me. But not to dedicate to that specific style. Just use that and explore into the rhythms of my land. I mean my land by South America as a whole, because we're very similar. And when you talk about Latin American music to people in the US, in Europe, in Australia, they immediately connect with Brazilian music and salsa. You know, Caribbean music, salsa, bossa nova, and it's not.
It's more Afro.
This is just two styles, and the whole South America. I mean Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela. Man, you have rhythms incredible. When you mix that with the jazz harmony, you have something.
So that's unique. That's where you started to focus on.
Yes.
And then that was when you maybe realized the need for extended range.
The real reason I came into this, it was because, how tall are you? 1 meter, how much?
180? I don't know.
1 meter and 80 centimeters. Yeah. I'm 185.
Okay, yeah.
If you put this hand, look.
Yeah.
And you see that? I have really small hands.
Yeah.
But small. And everybody see my huge bass and whatever, and they think I have super big hands, and I have really small hands. So I said, oh man, this is so hard to reach some stuff for me because I have small hands. So maybe, when I had the 6 string, anything get more simple to me. I said, why do not adding 2 more? 1 lower and 1 higher, and I will have the range I need in a very specific place.
Okay.
And I can move vertically instead of hyperextend my fingers, which I don't have.
Yeah.
So it was a technical reason, and the reason why I stopped on 8 strings and I didn't go beyond that point was that, if you think about it, we cannot hear below 20 hertz really in average, and if you go in fourths, that's the last one. That's it. F, C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp. Clearly, you can clearly hear the root of this. Which is So that's the reason I stopped here. You can see C sharps in some basses. C sharp, but C sharp is a 16, almost 17 hertz.
Really?
Fundamental. You cannot hear that. You just feel it on the guts.
Interestingly, how far down does the piano go? The piano must go as low as that.
No. The piano goes up till A, low A. The Bosendorfer 286 Imperial
Low
doesn't go. So it's not as low as this one.
Okay.
And the problem is that that's a fact. It's a physics fact. You cannot hear the fundamental. You can just feel.
Yep.
So it made. There are guys that are my friends. In fact, with the extended range bass community, we are very close. So all of us are friends. I respect. I mean, but it's.
I guess that only comes into play if you're playing open. I mean, if you're talking about extended range in terms of a technical thing for playing across.
Yeah.
Then you're not playing C sharp. You're playing whatever, and you can play.
Yeah, but it gets complicated because of the size.
Because of the size, yeah. You're
So
compromising on the size.
A lot, and you remember. So it's that's the problem, and why I stopped here and didn't go beyond to a B flat. The reason why I stopped here because technically, this is the last string you can wind.
Oh,
the wind. Sorry.
Wind, yeah.
The winding is the last one. The B flat is not.
Like on the guitar, it would be.
Yes, it's
so it
just
feels the same.
Playing is just the core.
Yeah.
The wire, so it sounds immediately like a guitar. So you have tu 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 tu, ping, and you know what I'm talking about. This sounds so guitaristic.
Yep.
And it's no meaty.
Yeah. And
it's not for me. That's why I stop here. Because if I add an extra string, I tried. I made many attempts and. Experiments. Said no, I won't use this one. So that was the reason. Those are the reasons for this to be an X string and stopping here and stopping here.
Okay. Yes. And who did you first approach to build such a thing?
This is a luthier in Chile called Alfonso Iturra, which is a very famous luthier in my country. Where I did the whole design, and I said I want this. We can make a deal, and we made a sponsor agreement. So it was free for me. It was very challenging for him because, of course, he was starting also.
Okay.
So it was not a perfect bass. He's a really great luthier, but of course he was starting. It's like me when I was starting.
Yeah. And there'd be no real template or precedence for him to kind of draw.
There were no pickups. I mean,
uncharted territory.
We used like 1, 2, 3, 4 P pickups here and 4 P pickups here. Like here, like that. That was so crazy. And little before that, I invented this thing, which is the mic ramp, which is something that came out after knowing Gary Willis in '92. '92, yes. And I lent him my amplifier. So on the sound check, he gave me the bass. Try it, and I tried the Willis ramp.
Yep.
Said, oh wow, this is fantastic. It's a little further away for my taste, and I told him, "Can you adjust this?" I told him. I said, "No, it's glued. It's perfect." But if the neck moves, it will affect the distance. He said, "Yeah, but I'm very cool with it. I'm very used to it." And it was glued here, and the pickup was here. You remember the Willis ramp,
right? Yeah.
So I told him, "Well, I would love to try a variation on this and to make it adjustable on the 4 corners, and having the pickups inserted underneath instead of having the pickup here and the ramp here. So you are playing outside of the sound, where the sound is being got." So he said, "Oh, that's a good idea, but I am cool with how I am." He said, he's a very nice guy. He said, "Well, you go for it." He told me, go for it, which I did. I mean, it's like, was like very like, I will.
Yeah.
So the first prototype, I did it in '95, and maybe you've seen some articles in magazines about the story of the ramps. First the Willis ramp, and there's 2 like ramps in the story of the bass ramps. The Willis ramp was the first, and then the mic ramp. That's adjustable.
Okay.
You can adjust.
So what are the pickups under here?
2 Nordstrand DC8.
Okay.
One custom made for me. I mean,
Yeah.
Nordstrand has been my sponsor for like 11 years already.
Great pickups.
Carrie is my friend, Stuart McKinsey. I mean, these are personal friends, and they really take good care of me. I mean, they have done really a lot of custom pickups for me, no charge. So I mean, thanks.
So you got two,
to Nordstrand.
two under there?
Two.
Two.
Yes, and they are super custom. This is 15 millimeters here. Sorry, 15.5 difference.
Yeah.
And 15 here, because it goes narrowing.
Okay.
You see? So one pickup is 15.5, and this is 15 millimeters.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very custom. Bare, no plastic, no nothing, just
Okay. Just the pole pieces and the
just the
winding.
pole pieces, the windings, because it goes here, so you don't need that. They are made for this, and the magnets are leveled with the plate, so they can get really in contact with this.
Okay.
And you get the sound very naturally.
Yeah.
So that's the story of the mic ramp. You've seen this in many basses now, many basses.
Yeah.
But I invented this like very many years ago.
Yeah, that's cool. And do you ever play basses without it? I mean, do you ever pick up like another bass without it, and how does it feel when you play without it?
Without it?
Yeah.
It feels weird because I have a different technique, so I'm very used to have it. I hit it. I'm very used to it. More than 20 years playing with it. So, but I can grab a bass and play, of course. But it's not, doesn't feel the same, of course.
So, at what point did you start to become, I guess, your own artist? You know, you learned your craft and you had facility, but when did you start to become?
I think that in 1998, when I started to imagine the string bass, like the first one was ready in 1999, but I would say in 1999 I started to realize it. I was still playing with bands and stuff like that. I was still in the US. Oh no, I was returning to Chile really. And in a moment I say, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I can do many things with this thing, and I started to explore it in 1999, but slightly combining solo things with the band playing. And in a moment, I just stopped playing with bands, and I've played with many bands in my life. That's something very important, because when people see solo players like me, they assume many times wrongly that he should learn how to play bass for a band. That's the roots, that's the fundamentals. You need that. They assume wrongly that because you play solo, you haven't done that. I played for almost 20 years with bands.
Absolutely.
I'm 52 years old. I mean, not a youngster. So.
Well, I had a similar experience. I was writing to Marcus Miller for a while when I was starting out playing the solo records, and then I had I got the Casino Lights. You know, the Casino Lights live at Montreux live album.
Yeah.
And I think he's playing bass for Al Jarreau, I think. And I'm listening to this track, I'm like, man, that rhythm section just killer. I wonder who's playing bass. Marcus Miller. And I was like, this is maybe the late 70s or early 80s, and I'm thinking, but Marcus is all about the chippity choppity, slappity slippity thing, and I didn't think about the fact that he had this huge session career where he was your typical bass player, you know, playing the bass lines and doing that, and then went on and extended his capabilities to being the solo guy.
Yes, but even when he went into the solo projects, but he solo not. There's a difference between solo projects and soloists.
True.
Like I'm a soloist. I mean, I play just by myself, which is a different. I was already playing with my band since 1992. I have my trio, my fusion trio, my compositions, my stuff. But I mean solo, the guy sat in a chair in the theater. That started in 1999, and this is if I I call myself, you can see my Facebook, it is the bass apprentice. That's how I define myself, and this is not like fake humbleness. It is really sincere. It's like you are always learning. Doesn't matter how much experience you can be, you're always learning. I mean, you're always an apprentice if you see it from that perspective. And that's important to say, because I like stick to that. The process is a very long process of learning. It never stops. So in a moment when you decide to do your thing, you really have to be very cautious, because you are still on that process.
You're not the finished product.
No, you're starting with something new.
Yeah.
But it's keep grounded. That's what I mean. It's keeping that's fundamental.
What was your first solo experience concert like? I mean, were you
scary as hell?
Yeah,
scary as hell, because
as bass players are so used to being in that, we can kind of just be in the background, and maybe I'll get a bass solo, but rest of the time I'm just cool over here by myself.
We know how it is. We can even mess around a couple notes, and nothing too serious.
But when the whole concert hall is eyes on you and there's silence, really and you need to make it happen. Absolutely
scary, because you in that very moment really feel what being on the spotlight is. Because any mistake, any situation that can appear, you are 100% getting it. I mean, it's like all on you, and you feel it. You feel it the very first time. I was really petrified, and but it feels. I mean, it's healthy in a way. It's healthy because the adrenaline push.
But also, I think it always highlights any weaknesses in the playing.
Yeah, but I let it go. I mean, in a moment in a part of the process, I was really like paying too much attention to mistakes, like no mistakes at all. I was like obsessive with no making any mistake at all. And I started to realize, watching videos from great musicians, not only bass players, Chic Corea, doesn't matter, they make a lot of mistakes. They make mistakes.
But they don't really sound like mistakes.
Because they are so self-confident.
Yeah.
So self-confident. They trespass. Like the atoms.
They transcend.
They transcend the mistake. It's like.
Well, because they're just so in the moment.
When they fix it, and their experience also. So and now I understand that I have more experience, that you make the mistake, but you fix it in a way it doesn't look like, you know how it is, and
you're a semitone away from a right note, as
that's Victor's quote. Yeah, there's people that does not like that quote. I totally agree with that quote. In fact, in my opinion,
is it a controversial?
It's very controversial. We know the controversy between Victor and Jeff, and it's went over the top. In my opinion, it went too far. Two great bass players of the 20th century, and still are. And it's not necessary, in my opinion. I mean, it could be managed in a more, in a better way. But I like Victor's approach, I have to say. I agree more with him. I'm a very metronome guy, holistic. In fact.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, Widner, the brand. Widner.
No.
Widner is they make this the tenor for me, and this F, of course, is tuned with this.
Okay.
So they also make in my opinion, the best metronomes in the world. This is the iconic metronome you see with the sign. This is Widner.
Okay.
This is Widner. It's based in Isny in the south of Germany.
Right.
And they sponsor officially just one musician in the world. If you go to the website, you see, because they have known about my compromise with metronome. They know that I'm really into defending the use of the metronome into musical education. I really support that.
Okay.
Especially bass, because the fundamentals of bass are different than the fundamentals of a sax or flute or any other instrument. we really, the bass of this, the bass B-A-S-E of this instrument is groove and pocket time. So you have to really build that up first, and then you can turn it off and flow with it. But from the very beginning, no way. You have to like set it and establish it in your biorhythm.
Was there a point in your learning where that became obvious to you, or was it kind of later on that you?
From the very beginning, I started with a metronome, and the story that Horst Widner, which is the owner of Widner, read about me is that I put together money to buy my first metronome because I was self-taught, so I needed somebody to study with, study. So I bought this. We're talking 1987, so no chords that I remember. Maybe there were, but mechanical, the typical one, and that was my partner. You see, I studied with this, and I started to understand everything through that. So that was very appealing to Horst, because it's a nice story. You see,
it is,
and I enforce that. I'm very obsessive with I can grab a. If you have a chronograph and you ask me 1 second and 29 cents, and I can stop it. And no, but it's not. This is not accurate at all.
It's not accurate?
No.
The digital ones are not
accurate?
accurate?
You have a real chronograph, I practice like whatever.
A chronograph?
Yes, a chronograph, a real serious chronograph. I stop it. You ask me, for example, I do it in my master classes. Like
I mean, sorry, what is a chronograph exactly?
Chronometer.
Oh, time watch?
Yeah, the ones that they used to use for sports. Or for sports. You stop it.
Okay,
but, and they show the cents, even the cents on the.
Oh, so I'm understanding what you're saying now. You have a really accurate sense of the passage of time.
Yes, this is like I see it as important as being accurate with the pitch. Okay. You can feel the slight variation on the pitch, lower or higher. Well, I think bass players should pay even more attention to an absolute control of the variations on the speed or on the accuracy of timing, and where musicians are more obsessed with the pitch, pitch, but timekeeping is also the same. You have to be nail it. It's a pocket playing. So it's a very like pragmatic, if you want, a realistic way to confirm how well you are doing with it. If you are really keeping it, like turning it, pa, and count 60 seconds, pa, and stop it. How you really, if you can really keep it.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and it's a very nice way to play. It's fun. I find it fun. For some musicians, it's not fun.
So in your solo concerts, how much is kind of composed and how much is improvised? What's the blend? I mean, is it?
Well, the solos are totally improvised, all of them.
Around compositions? Is that the way it works?
I mean, let's say I play 10 songs in a concert. 6 of them are my compositions.
Yep.
And the solos are improvised, of course, and 4 of them are arrangements on famous songs, if you want to call them, that everybody knows, or at least people who is into music. I do arrangements, re-harmonizations, and re-rhythmifications. I change the rhythm with Latin American rhythms. You know, Blue and Green from Miles?
Okay.
For example, you know, we know how it is, but this is a rhythm from Chile, which is called tonada. Oh. Etc.
Okay.
It's a different rhythm. It's a 6/8 rhythm with a feel that. Yeah, but it's a. It's super fun. It's tonada. That's the rhythm, Chilean rhythm.
Cool.
Well, We have a lot in Chile. We have a lot in Argentina. Different names, different rhythms. This is so beautiful to blend that with.
Is a lot of it
complex chords?
Is a lot of it triplet based or not necessarily?
No, because it's 6/8, so you can take it as a binary thing with 2 blocks of 3, and it sounds triplety, you know. But I made up that word.
You can have it. Yeah.
Do I myself understand?
You can add it to the rest of them.
Okay. So it's we have a lot of 12/8 in Latin America. You say from Peruvian rhythms, landó, festejo, that's 12/8. We have 6/8 and 2/4. We have 5/8 in Venezuela, the merengue caraqueño, merengue venezolano.
Yeah.
That's well. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1. You see, and it's even faster. And you see, it's like.
And with the addition of the.
I can explain you why I do this.
Because it gives that context. Because otherwise, the listener.
You know, I realize
that you might not know.
If I don't do it, you get totally lost because it's normal. Even you are a professional musician. Imagine what it is for people, normal people. In a moment, I realized
civilians.
I was playing civilians. I realized I was playing too much for musicians. I still do.
That's a good realization.
And in a moment, I said, I don't like this. I don't like because playing for musicians is good, and at the same time, you are always on the
microscope
and on the
firing range.
Yeah, you know how to say that?
The sniper.
Yeah, you are there with pointing at you, and if you make any mistake, that's gonna be amplified for the whole world, like terrible and whatever. It's not a nice feeling.
No.
But when you play for normal people, it's magic, man. It's magic. I mean, I've been doing that lately, and I'm turning into that because they really get the essence of what you're doing. Not the technical aspect. They're not focusing.
It's a good test of how good your music is.
It's the best
shall we
test.
say? You
I
know?
agree with that. It's absolutely the best test.
Yeah.
And so you need to help them a little bit.
Sure.
A little bit. If I'm going to play this, okay, 1 2 3 4 5 1 2. One in between. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1. Just one in between.
Yeah. To
give them some context, and they will start moving the head and tapping the foot.
Yeah.
And it's a 5/8 fast stuff. And it's like if you explain that, they would not be able to follow it. But if you just do that, or with any other rhythm, 6/8, 12/8, 4/4, of course, 2/4, you help them a little bit, and wow, it's magic appears. For example, there's a rhythm from Colombia, which is this song is on my album. It's a vallenato, which is a Colombian rhythm, maybe the most famous Colombian rhythm. So you just listen. I can explain later, but. sol and the stuff. You see, that's vallenato from Colombia, and it's one pa 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 pa. It's 1/16 after the beat. But if I don't hit it, where's that pa 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 pa? Where's that? Well, you give them a little bit of context. They start tapping the foot, and they feel it.
Yeah.
Pa 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 pa. They feel it immediately.
Well, that backbeat, you know, it's
super cool, and they start clapping. I have many experiences when I just start this tune or another one, and they start like that immediately, right away.
Wow.
They hear the first one, bam, and they start clapping.
Two and
the
four.
second one, and they don't stop till the end of the song.
Cool. That's good for you.
It's super
Well,
fun.
hopefully.
I can stop even hitting it.
Yeah.
And I clap with them. You see, it's real fun, and the most complex part of this is it took me 3 years. For example, on this album, which is here, oh, by the way, I can explain later. I was not. I mean, I was. I already accomplished doing this very well, but not for the solos.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So when it was solo time, when I heard my album ready, I said, "Oh, the album is really great, but the solos is like vacuum."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, sounds good. The solo is great, but it's like people would get lost with this. I don't know where's the beat. I can follow the solo. A musician can follow the solo as well, but not anybody." So it took me 3 years of practice to keep the hit going, the smack going on the improv. You see, like when I did it at the end, when I started to solo on Funkenato is the name of this song, you could see I was keeping the beat while I was doing the and keeping the thing.
And do you think that's actually been better for your phrasing? Or
I mean,
is it a slight compromise?
At the beginning, it compromises it a little bit. But as I said, I'm very nerdy, so I said, okay, there should be a certain amount of combinations possible. I mean, either you play down, either you play up, 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 because the most complex part is when the smack is in sync with a note.
Yeah.
Because in between,
that's where you start.
Nothing. And any good group player would do that.
Yeah.
But what's the problem comes here.
Yeah.
So there's a certain possibilities. Or either you play with this, with this, with this, with this when you're sweeping down. Well, I made all the notes and I practice them by separate.
Okay.
This possibility, all of them, for 3 years until it came natural. But at the beginning, you compromise a little, or you avoid certain notes because unconsciously.
Yeah.
But in a moment, it starts to flow, and you could really do whatever solo, even it feels like if you are not smacking or hitting the ramp.
Yeah.
It feels like the same.
So
but the people can follow the solo, you see?
And it's almost more important to have it during the solo because you don't have that harmonic rhythm to latch on to.
Absolutely. I cannot. And I notice it. This album is great. I'm not saying it's not good. It is great. But it's my first solo album. I recorded it 2 years ago when I turned 50. And a little before I turned 50 in Germany, in Worms, with my great friend Ralf Gauck, great bass player from Germany. And he has a studio. So we recorded that at his place. And that's my starting point as a solo. Everybody was pushing me to record my solo album for like the last 15 years. Yeah. And I always said, no, I'm not ready. I'm not. I started at 22 years old playing bass. Give me my time to make something decent. You see, I like coffee, I told you.
Yeah.
So it took me a time, but now I'm finishing the second album. It's gonna be ready like in 6 more months.
Yeah.
Compositions are ready, and now.
And are these compositions from, you know,
from
when you started,
no, the last 2 years period.
Last
no,
2 years.
I'm just everything is new. So after I finished this, I started to compose more and arrange another classics or famous songs.
Yeah.
So it's more than I can see the evolution. You see, it's now the solos, as I was saying, won't be like in the back
space.
Yeah, you will have that.
Cool.
It feels so good.
And also, what's the concept? You were telling me that there's video and audio.
Yeah. The reason why you see this, which is the best camera to make it.
That one.
Okay, that's a good distance.
Yep.
You can see nutrition facts, and it says here, notes and pitch editing 0%. You see, overdubbing 0%, rhythm quantization 0%, etc. Effects 0%, bass potentiometer 0%, bass preamp 0%, hand dynamic control 100%. Well, it's a joke, of course, but what I'm trying to say here is that it's what it is. I'm not editing or doing anything fake here. If there's a mistake, it will be there. It is there, in fact, some of them. They're not nasty mistakes, of course, but everybody would edit anything now. Yeah. And this is absolutely real, and I wanted to make it on video because that's the best way to prove that you are not cheating.
Yeah.
And the second album will be exactly the same. It's what it is. If you listen to this, you will see the same ugly guy live, playing the same music, the same way. It's not like when you listen to some album, wow, and you go live, you go there to the club. What? What? That's not the album I bought. Has happened to you? It has happened to me many times. It's like, no, wait. I can see there's tons of edition on this album. These guys don't play like that. So the music industry is getting a little bit crazy with sound edition or sound editing programs. No way. I really don't like that. I like the organic. That's why it's called Organic Bass 1. Okay. And the second is Organic Bass 2.
I guess Victor Wooten, same idea with Show of Hands. That was pretty much.
Yeah. Yes and no.
Mostly.
Because there's sound editing in there. But in a different way. He's not fixing notes. He's a real. He's a great bass player. But there's a lot of sound editing. Yeah. Sound editing, not note editing.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't even do that. When I'm a Phil Jones artist.
Okay.
And I'm very, very proud of the one of the brand's main artists. I have my signature amplifier. Okay. And you don't see many signature amplifiers around, really. I mean, try to look for and think about what Rockoprestia. There's one Eden. TC Electronics Rockoprestia signature.
Now he's back with Eden.
No, now he's back. But before
Marcus with SWR.
Marcus.
Now Mark Bass.
You're not gonna find more than 7 or 6 in the whole world. I'm lucky to have.
It kind of, on one hand, I can understand why, because really, like you're saying, it's this that is your sound.
You know, the reason is the logo. I don't know how to say that in English. The strong phrase, the commercial phrase for Phil Jones, it is pure sound. And we got very friends with Phil because when he heard me play, I said, man, that's what I want. I mean, it's like, and I was with Mark Bass, very happy, nice people, nothing to say. But it was really appealing to me when we started to talk with Michael Albronda. Also, he's the A&R guy, nice guy as well. And they told me, man, you should use our stuff because our philosophy suits you better, or your philosophy suits you, suit us better, because we are into the very high-tech speaker. I mean, Phil Jones, there's no any other brand in the market that can compete with this. I mean, they make their own speakers, custom made for the dedicated speakers for their amps. You cannot see that in other brands. They outsource. That's the difference. And Phil Jones is Phil Jones. I mean, he's a genius in sound engineering and I mean, building and inventing speakers is famous for that. He comes from the hi-fi field.
Yeah, for people who don't know Phil Jones' approach, what would you say? Because their speakers are generally small.
That's a good question.
But lots.
5 inches usually. 90% of their amps are 5 inches. They have some 7 inches now, some 8 and some 4 inches, but 90% is 5 inches. And many people relate a small cone with small bass sound, which is like really not thinking seriously. We can make an example with cars. More speakers are like more pistons. You can have a huge piston like that on an engine, one 15 inches speaker like a piston moving up and down, and you would think, oh, that's strong, that's efficient, because wow, a small pistons like that is like, well, that's a B12, you know, V8, V12, smaller pistons, more pistons, and there are thermodynamic reasons for that. Well, when you have more speakers, because for the bass sound, what really matters is the total area.
Surface area,
the surface area of the speakers, when you sum them up. That's the point. So 4 5-inch speakers do the work. It's like a 13 to 14 inch speaker, but the thermal handling of 4 small 5-inch speakers is way better, because the temperature does not get too high, because the coils are very small.
Okay.
And that's a very big problem with big speakers, because the temperature goes to the roof, and impedance goes to the sky. So
they're not as efficient.
It starts stopping the power from the amp, and you are not, in a moment, you are not listening to what you were listening when you plugged it in. So my signature amp is a 12 by 5, which, by the way, is the first dedicated extended range bass amplifier ever made.
Okay.
So that's quite a statement. There are not dedicated ERB amps.
The cabinet? Oh.
That's the cabinet. And the head, it's a hybrid ABD. A D input and a toroidal output.
Oh, okay.
It's really amazing. It sounds killer. It's made to handle the range. What appeals to Phil is that because I have a 5-octave range, say, wow, you're an ideal artist for me, because I wanna say, and you don't use preamp. You are perfect for me. You don't use knobs, no preamps. So it's my amp. You will be able to listen my work as well as a amplifier. Manufacturer. So it made a lot of sense to him as well. A lot of range, 5 octaves, no colors, no pedals. It was perfect for him. And that's the philosophy in general for Phil Jones. Small cones are way more efficient. And in the case of my amp, it's got the black neodymiums, which cost 3 times more as the usual Piranha 5-inch speaker that most of the Phil Jones amplifiers have, which has a flat coil. It's flat. It's not like the regular coil. It's flat, like this party thing that you blow. It's flat.
Okay.
And it's the copper is inside, and aluminum is outside.
Right.
And the aluminum handles thermal overheating way better than copper. So it's very, 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 very complex. You don't find that in any other brand.
So what would you say is the thing that you noticed most when you started playing this compared to what you...
I was crazy. I mean, I was playing at the Lords of the Low End in New York. I was playing with my gear, amazing gear. I mean, I have nothing wrong to say with that, but it's not the best for me.
Sure.
That's the only thing. And
it might not be the best for...
Of course.
The next guy, you know?
Absolutely. And I always speak like that. It's like subjective, of course, but there are technical aspects that are not subjective.
True.
So Michael around the time, why you don't try this? They were, Well, sure.
Were you skeptical at first as well when you saw the little
No,
speakers?
I was not, because I studied sound engineering.
Okay,
After this story I told you about, in a couple of years I studied sound.
Right.
So I'm very into that.
Cool.
I know sound engineering.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure, why not? Doom. Oh shit. Oh. Okay. That's. I didn't express it too much because I was on duty.
Yeah.
But he saw my face. I think I was transparent on that very moment. 6 months later, it was hard anyway. I sent a letter to the wonderful people at Margaret's, and I said, okay,
people change.
I'll resign. Basically, I sent a PDF to Marco and Ricardo, and they were very nice with me, very comprehensive. I was with them for 6 years.
I mean, I guess
they were very nice with me. Have nothing to say.
You know, like thinking about studio speakers. I mean, that's I don't know, 7 or 8 inch, maybe.
Maybe 8, 7, I would say.
And
maybe 6.5.
maybe.
Well, but it's around that, because this is not where it finishes. Yes. Oh, yeah. I would say 8.
But the low end you can get from that is huge.
Imagine,
because it's a very efficient cabinet design and speaker design.
Absolutely. Imagine 12 5-inch. It's like having three 12 inches, even more, 3 13 to 14 inches.
Yep.
It's a lot.
Did you
way more efficient in terms of.
Did you mic that up for the recording?
In what way?
Did you use a microphone for the recording of the album?
No. The album is even more impressive. There's an amazing little amp that Phil Jones has that's called the BG75, or the double 4, which is the size of a shoebox. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
2 4s. I recorded the album with that.
Really?
Even the lows with a mic, ambient.
Wow.
You will be very impressed.
All right, yeah.
It's
I'll
like
crank it through the speakers and see.
You will it's very.
So DI as well, or
no.
Just microphone.
Just microphone.
Cool.
Sounds very good.
I guess then the microphone does come into play. You got to have a broad spectrum.
Yeah, it was very good mic, but it was pointing to the amp. It was not getting ambient noise at all.
Was it a ribbon or a condenser?
It was D221, something like that. I don't even remember.
Okay.
He had so many.
That's all right.
Well, but anyway,
yeah,
it
translated the sound in the way that you.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I was really more on that very recording. I was really focused on my thing. He was taking care of that very well.
You trusted him.
And I tell you, I mean, it's like I decided to record it as a statement with a very, very shoebox size amp.
Mm-hmm.
You have a certain distance to it, it will get
sure,
what you need.
Yeah.
And it's very impressive.
Cool.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a little bit, going back to the metronome, the timing thing. If somebody wanted to kind of really dig in, like, you know, I know I do, and want to dig in and really analyze their timing, you know, because some people might not be aware that their timing is off, you know. So A, what's a good way of going about analyzing your timing, and then B, what's a good practice regimen or schedule for remedying issues?
First of all, do not rely on these programs that you see on the web that you can tap on here, and they are not accurate. They give you an idea that you can hit. Mm-hmm. There are some games to see how accurate you can keep it.
Oh yeah.
No, that's BS, man. It doesn't work well.
Like Rockstar, the video game, you know, where you have to press the button at the same time.
For example. So no, very serious. A sport chronograph, that's serious. I mean, you get the scent, and you really get it. So you can work that out. For example, keep it. Let's see. You can practice how steady you are with your timekeeping. So let's see 60 is a good measure because it fits the second. So let's say you wait for 10 seconds without knowing. Remember that first step is 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. So, and then you stop in 10. 10. You see what happened? Maybe it's not going to be so nice at the beginning, but it will improve. then you go to 20, and then you try to go straight to 1 minute. That's steadiness. That's different. And pure accuracy is what I was telling you, like, okay, I'm gonna do 2 seconds and 38 cents. And bah! Oh, 39 cents. I'm gonna lower 1 cent. Bah! And you won't believe it. You can feel 1 cent a second.
You must have felt you were on the high seas playing with me.
People doesn't trust this. I mean, sometimes when you speak them about to be accurate, they say, nah, no, this is quite subjective. No, it's not. It's not subjective. That's why this shows. I mean, when somebody, you're speeding up. No, I'm not. I'm not speeding up. Of course, I can make mistakes. Even when I make it, I say, I'm speeding up. Sorry. Yeah. Because of course I make mistakes. And but you know when you don't make them as well. You are pretty aware. I always make a comparison between the driving a car. When somebody's learning how to drive a car, you Australians are very special with this L license, P license. That's very good, man.
So you know that they've just passed.
It's incredible. I mean, I think it's the best thing I've seen. It's in my country they should enforce that. Well, whatever. The learner, what will do the very first day, without noticing, he will always notice late. He's going against the center of the other way. And he will overreact. He will go the other way, and it takes time for him to be sensitive to the changes. And they drive like that. If you go to an F1 driver, if you see the steering wheel, they are always, we're always correcting. Nobody drives straight.
True.
Nobody. We're always correcting. The difference between you and me and the beginner is that he realizes late that he's going that way or the other way. It's the same thing with speed. Same thing, with speed. See, this speeding up or slowing down, they do not realize it immediately. It takes a little time. Oh, I'm speeding up, or I'm slowing down. It takes a little time for them. So it's a matter of being aware. And this time of reaction and the correction goes faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, till you cannot notice, but you are always fixing it. You're fixing it all the way, but slightly. 1 cent here, 1 cent here, 1 cent here.
So how do you take that awareness and apply it to when you're playing, if you know what I mean? It's one thing to kind of get good at stopping the watch on certain seconds, but then how
playing live, you mean?
Well, yeah, like just playing. Like how does your understanding of the passage of time influence the actual mechanical movements that you're doing on the bass, if you know what I mean? Because it's
absolutely. See, for example, you see the last one? Did you hear something?
Early.
You see? But it was on purpose.
Okay.
So nobody noticed such a thing in general terms.
Yeah, true.
And doing it on purpose is even harder. As you couldn't hear, it was absolutely steady on the 16th after the beat. And the very last, it was like 3 cents of a second, 4 cents of a second earlier. And you could notice it. So when we talk about cents of a second, it's like, oh, that's too exaggerated. No, it's not. You can really feel, any experienced musician can really feel 4 cents, maybe not 1 cent of a second, but if you get there, you will feel it. It's a matter of practice. So the more control you have on the time keeping factor or time accuracy factor, better for you, because you will be able to control on demand. I mean, purposely, it's okay, intentionally, what you do, which is great. And I have books written. Some of the universities in my country use them. They have my books in the libraries about rhythm.
Okay.
applied rhythmics for the electric bass. That's the translation, and I go crazy with that in the sense that it's not, for example, ta 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 ta. Ta 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 1 2 3 4 5 6. The first half was triplet. The last one was 6. For example, and you feel the difference, and it's even more. For example, let's say. Ta 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 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Oh. But really accurate. Any musician can do that, but not any. Well, but it's like being very, very clear when you are playing a triple subdivision or a quadruple. I don't know. You are subdividing in 4 or in 3 or in 5, for example. These are the typical jumpy thing, but it's in the feel of 5. 1 2 3 4 5 8 1 2 3 4 1 2 oh sorry 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4. I'm not even hitting it. You see, which is not the same when you divide in 4. It's almost the same. Tum ta 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 tum ta 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 tum ta 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 tum 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 ta ta. That's 4. Now 5. It's a world. It's a world. But if you analyze it, it's very slight difference in terms of sense.
And would you recommend recording yourself?
For example, it's good
to analyze it.
It's
you know, because sometimes, you know, when you're playing, you're not, depending on where you are, you're not necessarily able to sit back and analyze what you're doing because you're still trying to do it. So hearing it from the audience perspective, is that?
Yes, it's very good to record yourself because it hurts. You know how it is. It hurts. Oh no, I'm so lost. Let's go again. But it's also cool to grow up from, let's say, 1 2 3 1 2 3 and now 1 2 3 4 1. Oh, sorry. No. Ana, taka taka ta ta 6. I play 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. For example, it's cool because you force yourself to distinguish the nuances.
And also, I think an important factor is the quality of your technique.
Absolutely.
You know, because sometimes I find if I'm practicing something and
we haven't talked about the technique.
And I'm like, why am I always late on that section? It's the hands. It's because it's the thing that, you know, the rest of it's fine in that one bit. It's not that I was in time and then I thought out of time. It was just
you have it here, but you didn't have it here.
I didn't have it here, you know. So I think that's also an important thing, is to make sure that your technique is capable of playing whatever it is that you want to do. So
well, as you could notice, my technique is completely different. It's very unorthodox. It's called, I'm finishing the book now, it's vectorial synthesis technique. I told you I'm a nerd. Vectorial, vectors, movements, vectors.
Okay.
You know, physical vector.
Yep.
Synthesis, I mean you are synthesizing vectors, the less the better.
Okay.
Technique. It's about being the most, as much as efficient as possible with the movements. As much as possible.
Yeah.
So
I totally agree with that. My brother is a guitar player.
Well, but the pick has limits. You see, the pick has a lot of limits because it's just one thing with two sides.
Yeah.
But the fingers are, man, it's like you know, for example, the sweeping of a guitar. Okay, yes, but if you count 1, 2, 3 movements, yes, 1, 2, 3. But how many notes we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes. 3 movements. Or it's better in the major scale. You tell me how many movements I'm making here.
Okay. 8.
Nope. I'm making 16. Because we always forget about the recover. And the recover is as a movement as the other one.
Sure.
And that's the one that makes the conventional pizzicato technique very inefficient in terms of mechanics, because it's 100% inefficient. One movement is lost, and the other one, you get a note from that. That's not quite efficient. I'm not saying that everybody's wrong. No, I'm not saying that.
Sure.
I mean, I'm just saying it's a theoric analysis. Keep it very like cold in that area. I mean, I'm not owner of any truth at all. I'm just saying that.
Yep.
So 16 notes, 16 movements for 8 notes. It's not very good. With the regular pick technique up and down, you have 8 for 8. Yes.
Yep.
8 for 8. Well, with the VST, for example, this is one example. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, because it's just one. I'm not changing the position. One of the aspects of this technique is you never change this position. It's just one finger with two.
So you can roll.
I roll it. So I never lost. I'm loose or lost. No, lose.
Change. Lose.
Lose. I never lose. I never lose any movement. Okay. So it's, you hear 3 things.
Yeah.
But I'm just sweeping once.
Yeah.
And you hear 3. So 5 for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna go back. 6, look at this. 7, 8, 9. So it's 9 for a total of 16 notes instead of 32. 32 if you alternate everything, but if you sweep like with the regular pizzicato, you sweep this one, and you sweep this one, it's 30. You save 2. So it's 30 against 9. It's 3 times more efficient. And this is just one example. I can give you tons of examples where it's even more efficient. So when I really go crazy in a moment, I'm playing real fast, and people tell me, man, that's the fastest I've heard in my life. I said, no, I'm the slowest bass player in the world. How come? Because nobody moves the hands slower than me.
Yeah.
That's my goal. I mean, moving really not taking care about the technical aspects we were talking about, and let it flow, because it's not a problem anymore. It's like when you drive a Ferrari and 120 kilometers an hour, which is legal speed in many countries, freeway speed. I'm driving a Panda, Fiat Panda, you know that little car?
I don't think I would take it to 120.
Well, let's imagine it reaches
let's
that.
imagine it.
It's not, in both cars you're going to 120.
Yep.
But the sensation, it's not the same.
It's true.
And
or the Ferrari driving at 40 kilometers an hour is just, it's asleep.
It's boring.
The Panda's like full pro.
I mean, full pro, you're right. But in average terms, it's like the feeling of having a threshold very far away. Yeah. It feels good, because this is a matter of concern for us as bass players always. When I was starting, oh man, I'm so on the edge, and these damn sax players are smoking. Man, I so envy that so much, in a good way, of course.
Because all the notes are there, it's just...
It's super efficient.
I'm not saying it's easy to play sax, but
it's the same principle.
They can cover their whole range with a little movement compared to cover the whole range on the bass.
Yes, but especially with this hand, you see, it's like, oh my God, we can manage this one. I
always find that my right hand is dragging behind my left hand. This hand much more capable then this one is.
You know that this is the problem of the 99% of the bass players.
Yeah.
That this is dragging against this one.
Yeah.
So let's say in one string, one thing is playing fast, this one thing, but staccato is the cool thing because you can play fast but shitty. Okay. And you can feel the staccato sound is not like this is clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very clear, you see, but it's 4 notes, 2 movements. Ta, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So you feel nothing, and it sounds really fast. So you, at the end, lose any interest in having to play fast because.
It's it's. I guess what we're saying is it's twofold. It's developing your time awareness, your perception of the passage of time, and then it's making sure that your technique has the least resistance possible to playing at the right point in that passage of time. It makes you feel good,
and you stop thinking too much about the technique when you play, so you can focus on musical aspects.
Sure.
Really focus because you are not like suffering or twisting your toes, like you know how it feels, and we all know. I mean, it's like, and I decided to like try to overcome that, and I started with this in 1992 with the VST. Yeah. It went through many crazy names at the beginning, and it came out at the end. That was the concept that really embraced the real thing. I mean, it's about this. It's about this, and there are tons of examples I can give you after the.
Yeah.
The
I'm sure we'll see some tomorrow night at your.
Oh yeah, we will talk for sure again about this.
And so, what about being a solo bass player in 2018? You know, with the internet and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, are you prioritizing any of that, or are you
not too much?
No,
not too much really, because first of all, I think there's too much hate in the web. Many of my good friends have to suffer from that. I don't upload many videos because it's not fair to be that exposed, and somebody is not going to focus on your music at all. No, many people like, okay, too many strings. So they're going to say something nasty about the strings. They're not going to hear. They're going to listen at all, and or they're going to focus on whatever. So I prefer, if there are some videos on the web, somebody took them from a live performance. I can do nothing about that, and I'm cool, no problem. And in certain specific moments like this one, where I can explain more things, I feel way better because it's more fair. I mean, I can explain, too many strings, these guys that want to show off with the strings. I already explained the reasons why I play with an 8-string bass, which are not the obvious reasons, they are profound reasons, for example. So I'm not too much into uploading videos to the web. I'm kind of active in Facebook. I have 11,000 followers on the Facebook page, which is not bad. I mean, I haven't uploaded anything to the Facebook page in like 3 months. And in my profile, it's like pretty full.
It's a good way of letting
Instagram.
It's a good way of letting people know about concerts or about albums, kind of thing.
Yes,
it's a good way to network with people who are interested in what you do.
Absolutely, and I have many ways. I mean, when I do something, it spreads anyway because it goes. I mean, I upload something and it goes away, and many people know I'm playing tomorrow here, even here in Australia and in Sydney. I'm very amazed. You see, in Instagram I'm not very active. I have like 100 publications or something like that total. Yeah. I follow 100 people. Around, I don't remember, but and I have almost 2K. But I don't do too much, really. I should. But,
well, it depends. I mean,
I don't need.
You don't need to.
I don't need it. That's the millennials don't understand that you cannot evaluate or evaluate. That's the best word, maybe. Evaluate. Any musician's career by the amount of likes they have in their social media. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, there are amazing musicians like Bob Shepard, for example, like Steve Ferrone, like, I mean, that you see their website or their social media, they have like 500 friends, Instagram 200 followers.
Maybe they don't have an Instagram.
No, they have, but they don't care too much, and they have recorded 1,000 albums.
Well, exactly, because they had a career before that, and their career will continue despite of that.
And some of them have a career right now, but they don't care too much. Yeah. They really don't. And Gary Willis, for example, is not very active, and he's one of the absolute masters of this instrument, in my opinion. And he's not, I mean, he doesn't. Jimmy Johnson, that's the best example I can give you. My favorite bass player, by the way.
Cool.
Jimmy Johnson is mine. Look at this. I'm so proud of this. It's worth it. It's worth it. That's the Alan Holdsworth Memorial Concert. I was invited by Mari Takahashi to that. It was in the Baked Potato.
Cool.
Last year.
Yeah.
Man, Jimmy was smoking.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anything. He doesn't, period. I mean, doesn't have any social media. He really does not care. And he's one of the most transcendent bass players of the 20th century, in my opinion. Invented the 5-string bass, and a master player and an absolute monster, and no likes, no social media. Yeah, so millennials mostly over evaluate or over
prioritize.
Yes, they give too much credit to the amount of likes you have or not.
Sure.
And this is so wrong. I mean, it distorts the real essence of artistry.
And what's next for you? Album number 2, obviously.
Okay, that's a good question. Well, now I'm flying. Oh, now I have tomorrow the Eastgate gig in Melbourne. Then we fly with Marcello Grazzi. We go to Sydney, and I have a performance in Terra Music, the Terramara Music. Then I fly back to Chile, and I have a concert with 4 great Chilean bass players, fellow colleagues in Chile, for Ergo Strap, which is my strap sponsor. That's April the 14th. Then I fly to Boston. I have to teach a masterclass in Berkeley. That's my second masterclass in Berkeley, which I'm very proud, because it's such a meaningful thing.
Did Steve Bailey give you the call?
We see each other. We agreed on that at the Bass Player Live 2017. We played the All-Star Jam together, and we talked after that. So it came out very naturally.
Cool.
And that's my second masterclass in Berkeley, and as I said, very meaningful to me. Then I fly back to play in Chile. Then I fly to Tokyo. I have 2 concerts in there, and that's the way I go.
Cool.
Back and forth. My second album, should be ready before the end of this year. And really a lot of things coming. A lot of things.
Learning.
I will communicate them on my social media and my website.
Yeah, so best way for somebody to keep abreast of what you're doing would be website or Facebook?
Facebook, but the website is for everybody who wants. It's updated.
Okay.
My website is igorsaavedra.com, and you can buy my album. Ooh, what was that? My phone. You can buy this album and my book, for example. You can order it and pay through PayPal. There's also if you want, you play extended ranges. You are as crazy as me, and you play you're there to play with too many strings. La Bella has the whole extended range bass line. It's called Igor Saavedra, so you can purchase the strings from there. There's a link in there, and you can order. You receive your dedicated
string set
for extended range bass in there. So it's Many things happening.
Good place to go. And if I understand you do Skype lessons and stuff, if people are interested in that kind of thing.
Yes, of course. I have students in different countries of the world. I have private students in my homeland, of course.
And is that just for extended range basses?
No, I teach bass lessons. Yes. No, it doesn't have to. Of course, it's way better. I mean, if it's extended range bass, it's exactly my field. But I come from the, how you say when you fight the wars on these holes?
The trenches.
The trenches. I come from the trenches. Yeah. So it's my thing anyway.
And it's all music anyway. Exactly.
That's a good one. So you can also, if you want some Skype lessons, find a little more about my world or my points of view. I'm there, and I want to close because I feel it's closing this. It's that everything I say or I propose is just my point of view. I said it before in the middle of this nice conversation. I don't have or hold any truth at all, just my opinion, how I see my thing. Better, it's not better than anybody's, it's just, but very important to say, if you are a musician, it's important to try to achieve, try to be better, yes, improve, get better every time, but even more important than achieving a quality playing is achieving an identity. You know, as me, how many good players there are around in this world. Good, great bass players. There's a lot. You raise a stone, but who are the ones that succeed? They have to be good, of course, but they have to have something. If you analyze, if you close your eyes, you listen to Gary Willis playing, Gary, immediately, it takes you a second. Any guy that...
Bass nerd.
Like us. Marcus. Victor. The guy who knows me. That's the crazy Igor. No problem, immediately. It's like easy. Because you have that identity, because you play with a certain technical approach, you have a specific sound, very clearly noticed. You have a music taste, I mean, like in my case, Latin American mix, well, blah, blah, blah. Clearly that's Igor, that's whatever. It's like clear, rock, Prestia, identity. That's something that's missing in many bass players. They try to play like somebody else's, and that's fair at the beginning. All of us started playing like, but the problem is that many guys stay there and they are 60 years old, and they stay there 50, 40, whatever. No, that's not the way to go. You have to find who are you and try to make it pass through.
Totally.
And that's the main thing I would like to say.
Some of the good advice I got when I was younger is there's always going to be somebody better than you, but there's never going to be anybody that sounds exactly like you.
And I can add something to that. There's nobody that's going to be better than you doing what you do.
Yes.
Nobody can beat you being yourself.
So make that good.
Nobody can beat you being yourself.
Yeah.
But if you are not yourself, first you have to be yourself. Yeah. And then you're on the top of the mountain in that very moment. Of course, assuming you already have the quality.
Yep.
The objective quality.
True. Man.
Thanks, my friend.
Thank you.
It was really a pleasure.
That was really good, man. Igor Saavedra, everybody. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Cool.
Bye-bye. Bye, folks.
Stay tuned.